What's going on YouTube? It's your boy King Key and I'm back with another video. Today what we're going to be doing is doing a little top 5 anime battle arena characters. And just note, this is my opinion. I mean, it might not be your opinion, but in my opinion, these are actually the best people in the game. I haven't played with every character, but I've played with, you know, at least enough, and I've watched enough to see, you know, what I would determine from my point of view. But I hope you guys like it, and yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. Alright, so for our 5th character we have Goku, and the reason I'm putting him here is he's actually crazy. Like, people underrate him sometimes, and I just think he's a game breaker. Like, you put him in the game and he automatically racks up points and he gets like the most damage in the game. So for his first move we have Kamehameha, and it's the Kamehameha, and it has 30 damage and the cooldown is about 20 seconds, and it can actually guard break your opponent. So if you like using it against like a group, then it's kind of good to line them up and then use the Kamehameha, and that's actually really effective for that type of situation. Now Goku's second move is Ki Blast, and this is actually a really good move. It does 20 damage and the cooldown is about 19 seconds. Basically he flies up and shoots down a Ki Blast, and it's really good to get out of like if someone's launching something at you or about to hit you. It's really good to get out of that situation, especially if you're at low health, and it does a decent amount of damage. That's why I like this move so much. Alright, now for Goku's third move, it's Flash Fist, and Flash Fist is actually pretty crazy. It's a faster version of Goku's Rush, and it does about 13 damage and has a cooldown of 12 seconds, but it can be blocked. But you know, it's actually crazy. It's better for like if you have a person that's trying to run away, or you're low on health and he's low on health and you just want to take him out real fast. It's actually pretty good for that. And you see it everywhere. You see a random Goku just flying at you from everywhere. Alright, now Goku's fourth move is Kick Rush, and Kick Rush is really good for combos. If you want to hit him with a little normal basic combat combo and you actually want to do some more, then you can do the Kick Rush, and it does about 36.5 damage and has a cooldown of 15, and actually knocks them away with your last kick. So that's really good. And the last kick actually guard breaks, so then you can hit him with anything you want. You can hit him with a Ki Blast if you want to, and yeah, that just makes Goku so crazy in his base form. And Goku in his form gives you some really good moves. For his first move, it's actually Super Kamehameha. It's basically Kamehameha but bigger, and it's actually better for groups if you want to just launch it at a group. But it does 48 damage and it has a cooldown of 10 seconds. You see this move like a lot. Like, I use this a lot. So for the second move is Instant Transmission. It's basically kind of like an after image move. It's instant transmission, but you can move while you're doing it, and it doesn't do damage, but it has a cooldown of 5 seconds, and it's really good if you want to move away from an enemy or move closer towards the enemy. The third move of Goku is Meteor Smash, and it's actually pretty good. He kicks him in the air and then he basically punches him in the stomach, I think, and he kicks him down, and then he does 51 damage. It's actually blockable, but it has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Now Goku's last move is Super Spirit Bomb, and it's actually pretty crazy, man. It does 70 damage and it's basically almost a one shot if they're even a little bit low. I don't know for sure if they can have full health and you hit them with it and they die, but it's actually pretty good. It's Super Spirit Bomb and it goes crazy. Now you already know I had to put Saitama in the bunch. This is the 4th character, and the reason I'm putting him here is he is actually really good in my opinion. So you don't start off as Saitama. Saitama is actually the transformation mode of this character, and it really is Mumen Rider and Genos and Saitama all in one. The first move for Mumen Rider, he rides his bike and then he just rams into you. Like, it's actually pretty fun to play with. Like, you're actually riding a bike, and it does like 20 damage, I think, and it guard breaks, and it has a cooldown of 18 seconds. And Justice Tackle is the second move, and you actually just grab a hold of whoever you're fighting and you just slam them to the ground. It's actually blockable though, but it does 20 damage and it has a cooldown of 20 seconds. I use this whenever I just wanna stop somebody in their tracks. Now the third move is Incinerate. Now this is basically where Genos charges a little energy beam of fire, and he just launches that. It knocks back and it does 20 damage, and it has a cooldown of 17 seconds. It's actually probably the most used move that I use in this base form. Now the fourth move is Machine Punches, which is actually kind of like a little Luffy Gatling mode kind of thing. It does 1 damage per hit and has, I think, maybe 45. That's what it says on the Wikia. And it knocks back on the last hit, and it has a cooldown of 15 seconds, but it can be blocked. It can be blocked. Now in Saitama's transformation, you actually turn into Saitama. Well, Saitama just jumps in, and then Genos or Mumen Rider just falls down, and he is actually, you know, it's Saitama, so he has to be good. And the first move is Consecutive Normal Punches, and it's basically where he throws like 1 punch, and then it just has like a bunch of punches just hitting him all at once, and it just does about 2.5 damage per hit, and I think it has about 60 hits, and it has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Now the second move of Saitama is After Image. He basically just teleports behind his enemy. It has a cooldown of 5 seconds. It don't do damage, but it's actually pretty good to use whenever you really beating somebody up, because that's what Saitama does. Now the third move is Normal Punch, and this is a great move to use in a group, and it's basically a punch, but it's Saitama, so you know it has to be strong. It has damage of 40, and the cooldown is 15 seconds, and it actually guard breaks. Now the fourth move of Saitama is Serious Punch. Now this is crazy, man. It's crazy. It's so crazy that he actually leaves after he does this move. This move can be used to destroy everybody. Like, you can have a group of people sitting right there, and then this move will kill them all. The only downside to it is Saitama leaves, but you still have Mumen Rider and Genos at the end of the day. Alright, so for our third character, we have Gojo, Satoru Gojo. Gojo has actually been a really good character for me. He's actually a new character, and he's just crazy, man. His first move is Red Reversal, and he basically lifts up his hand, and then I think it's called the Divergence of Infinity, and he charges like a red little AoE move, and it's actually pretty good to get out of situations with. It does 20 damage and has a cooldown of 17 seconds. And if you guard break with your Red Reversal, then you teleport behind them, and it allows you to like M1 them or something. Now the second move of Gojo is the Gojo Backhand. Now this is the move I use the most. You basically backhand them, and then you teleport behind them and smash them on the ground. It's pretty good. It guard breaks too, and it does about 25 damage, and it has a cooldown of 18 seconds. This can be a combo extender, combo starter, whatever you want, man. This move is actually crazy. Now the third move is Collapsing Blue. Now Gojo, he just throws a little ball of gravity, and then whenever you hit 3 again, it actually expands and then it pulls in enemies, and it's actually pretty good if you want them to go away or to come to you. And it does about 25 damage, and it has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Now the fourth move of Gojo is probably the most popular one. You use the laugh emote, and you basically just laugh at them. If someone hits you, it actually teleports behind you. The cooldown will actually only start if you counter the attack, if the attack hits you. So that's actually pretty good. Now for Gojo's 6 Eyes transformation, his first move is Stronger Backhand. It's basically backhand but stronger. There's about 45 damage and has a cooldown of 12 seconds. And it's actually stronger in the second move, which is Unlimited Void, and it's basically where Gojo he activates this little space, and then it just looks crazy. You see in the video, but during this period, all of Gojo's moves are buffed, and basically he's just really strong in that period. So if you see a Gojo and he turns that on, you better just run away from him just right now. And his third move is Maximum Collapsing Blue, and that's basically Collapsing Blue but stronger. So it does about 48 damage and has a cooldown of 12 seconds. Now Now the fourth move of Gojo in this mode is Hollow Purple, and it's basically where he puts his hands up and he creates this like purple energy little wave, and then it's just crazy. It does 100 damage, and man, it guard breaks. And the cooldown is infinite for this. So yeah, but if you block it, it actually does 25 damage. So it's kind of like a little downside there, but you know. All right, now for our second character, we actually have Hai, and Hai is from a show called Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm not really sure how you say it. I don't really watch it that much, but it has to be a good anime since he's so strong. And the reason I put him in second is because his base form is good, and his ultimate form is really good, and they basically correlate to each other. So if you lose your mode, it doesn't even matter. You have that base mode. Now the first move is After Image Strikes, and he basically teleports or after images towards the enemy, and then you can just slice while you're doing that. And it has like 21 damage, and it has 7 per after image, and it's blockable though, but it has a cooldown of 14 seconds. Now the second move is Blender, and it's basically like a little AoE move where you basically just slice. It's a basic little sword move, but it's actually pretty good to use. It has a guard break, and it does 20 damage, and it has a cooldown of 20 seconds. The third move is Meteor, and it's basically where he jumps back in the air, and then he just knocks him down, and it guard breaks, and is really good to use if you're getting attacked and you just want to end it real quick. It has a damage of 20 seconds and has a cooldown 20 seconds. Now the fourth move is probably the most noticeable move. It's Behind You, and it's basically where he teleports behind you and he just slices one time, and then multiple slices just attack your opponent. Damage for this is 31, and the cooldown 20 seconds. Now for his transformation, this is actually pretty good. He rips the headband off his forehead and he shows off his third eye. First move for this is Mortal Flame Fist, where you basically teleport behind the opponent and he just hit them with a flame fist or something. It has like 40 damage, and it has a cooldown of 18 seconds. Now the second move is Mortal Flamethrower, and it's basically a little flamethrower move. He basically shoots out his arm, and then it just sends a wave of fire, and it does about 40 damage and has a cooldown of 18 seconds. The third move is Darkness Flame Sword, and it actually is a little close range move, and it actually looks pretty cool, and it is pretty cool. It does 20 damage and has a cooldown of 19 seconds. You can use the extend combos or start combos. It's actually pretty good. I like to use it a lot. Now the fourth move is Darkness Flame Dragon. He basically, man, this move is actually crazy, because you do not want to get hit by this in the game ABA, because man, I swear it's annoying. So he basically sends out this little dark dragon, and he hits every enemy that's close to him. So you want to get out the way when he uses this, and it does about 79 damage, and it ends your mode. That's the only downside of it, but man, it's crazy. And I think it leaves you with about 50% of your max health. So I mean, that's another downside, but it's actually a really good move. I cannot stress that enough. Now for our first and best character, we have Aizen. Now I had to put Aizen here. You probably already knew that Aizen was the best. He costs 3,600, so he has to be good. His first move is True Power, and he basically uses his flash step to move around, and then he just swings like, is it one slash, and then he launches 2 air slashes, and then guard breaks, and it has like 15 damage and knocks your opponent down. So that's pretty good. His second move, I don't really know how to say, is Kyoka Sugetsu, I think, but anyway, it's kind of like a counter move, and you basically emit blue particles, and then once they hit you, you basically reflect the damage and you switch places with them. So that's actually pretty good. It has a cooldown of 20 seconds, and it's really good against like AoE attacks like Spirit Bomb or something like that, because if you use that Kyoka Sugetsu, then it reflects the damage, and then you replace your spot with their spot. Now the third move is his little box move. I do not know how I say that. Kuro Hitsugi kind of like makes this black box, and then it has black swords to go into the box and then attack your opponent. It has like 40 damage and has a cooldown of 20 seconds. This is a really good move, I'm not gonna lie. And the fourth move is Flash Dodge, which you probably you probably would notice more from him is basically you just teleport, you know, all around. And it's really good for getting out of moves, like out of combos and stuff like that, but it can be canceled early by left clicking, so that's pretty good. And it has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Now for his transformation, it is actually really crazy. So his first move is actually in all caps, and it's Kuro Hitsugi. It's basically a really big version of the other one, and it does 80 damage but 20 of block, and it guard breaks as well. And the second move is Kyoka Sugetsu again, so that basically explains itself. Third move is True Power. It's basically like the first True Power, and it does like 40 damage and it has 15 seconds. The third move is True Power, and it's basically like the first True Power, and it does like 40 damage and has 15 seconds of cooldown. Now the fourth move is Teleport, and it's basically you teleport behind the opponent, and it's crazy, man. That move is actually really good, man. It gets you out of combos and moves, and it's just crazy. So that was basically my top 5 people in the game. If you don't think so, go ahead and leave a comment who you think is the best character in the game, man. But yeah, man, that's basically the end of the video. I hope you guys leave a like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe, because you know what I'm saying, I had to gather a lot of information for the video. Hit your boy with a subscribe, man. Alright, I'm gonna catch y'all later in the next video. Y'all stay up, and then I'm gonna see you guys later.